All right, everybody. We were just, hey, Skylar. We were just on Facebook Live trying to split screen with the famous Cynthia Cano. We were not able to figure it out, but one of our friends told us that Facebook has suspended split screen. Cynthia, if you're on there, send a request to be in the video and we'll let you in. Okay, there's Cynthia. Oh, stop touching my face. That's the last time I touched my face. Hey!
Hey!
We made it work. What's
How
up?
are you? We made it. It worked.
There you go.
How's it going?
Good. No more Facebook for us, I guess.
I guess it's Instagram.
Tell me how you have been sheltering in place. Don't touch your face.
You know what? Is it okay to touch my face if I'm at home and not with anybody else? Still?
No.
Okay.
Never.
I'm going to try to do this like you're doing. So it's good. Been here with my family, and we've been going out as little as we can. I've been wearing a hat every day, and so I was thinking of going gray, like letting my gray hair come out. I just it's a thought, so I have not had a chance to dye my hair.
You have gray hair?
Yes. I'm going to be honest, I do. And so
wow.
I was thinking of just letting it grow out and see what that looks like, hands down. But it's been good. Been working, been outside a lot. Really enjoyed being outside and spending some time. I didn't realize how much we were on the road until this last week and a half where I've been home. And so I've been trying to catch up on not just work, but projects here at home too. So it's been good.
Are you at all going stir crazy? Too much family time?
So I like being home, but yes, a little bit, I was thinking if we could all have a room in the house and everybody has to stay in that room for 2 hours of the day, because being around each other all day long is also a little bit challenging, but I'm grateful for it. My family's healthy and I feel really grateful. We have food. We found toilet paper. We had a toilet paper issue.
You were out of toilet paper, right?
We were out of toilet paper, and we went to all the stores, and all the stores were telling us, come back tomorrow, 5:30 in the morning, get in line. So Mauricio was going out in the morning. He would go to one place. I would try to go to another. We would get in line. No luck. So we struggled a little bit with toilet paper, but we have some toilet paper now. We found some.
Good. And do you want to disclose your source, or are you protecting that for your supply?
No. So we went to Walmart, and after we tried every store in El Paso, and we just got there at the time where they had a shipment. They put you in a line, and Mauricio went in. I didn't go in, and he said that you didn't get to pick, you didn't get to ask, you got in line, and they were just handing it out, and you grabbed your toilet paper roll and you left with it. And so he was like, somebody got an 18-pack roll, he only got a 9-pack roll, but just grateful that we had toilet paper. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing okay, and I'm glad that we can figure out split screen here, even if we can't do it on Facebook. I'm hearing an echo of myself on your end. Do you hear it too?
I don't.
Huh? Are other folks hearing it?
I don't know. I don't see it. Do you guys hear an echo?
Someone was asking to play some records. I'm playing the radio. This is later era Rolling Stones right now. You a Stones fan, Connor?
You know what? A little bit, but I've started to after spending so much time with you, I kind of like your music now. It happened. And I do miss you. I miss seeing you. I miss, I feel like I spent the better part of 3 years with you, and now this has been the longest that I've gone without seeing you in person.
I told you you would miss me someday. I know you were getting sick and tired of traveling with me and dealing with me, but the distance has made you grow a little bit fonder. Right?
You know what? Yes, I do. I feel grateful for it, and I do miss you. So they told me to lower my volume. Does that work?
I think that's what's happening. We're hearing me twice, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, I turned it down. We have the smartest people that are helping us through this, and so.
I see TM. Is she helping you out?
Yeah, a lot of them. Stephen Groves, who's on. Danny
really?
Powder. Wesley. A lot of our good friends. Jara Butler, which I'm so happy to hear from.
Oh, Jara, we should get Jara on a live stream soon. Just
Skylar.
get her perspective. Is Jara in Virginia now?
I think she still is. Yeah, I think she's still there. So
Thumbs at your face, not even your chin.
I'm not, look, there.
Yeah.
Hands down. I do that a lot. I realize that I touch my face a lot, and I'm trying not to.
Okay, so I think what we're going to try to do tomorrow is have a local restaurant owner in El Paso who, like all restaurants in El Paso, and I think in the state of Texas and in many parts of the country, has had to close her restaurant completely, and want to talk to her about what that's like, want to hear how her employees and former employees are doing, and then I want to hear about a fund that she started for food, restaurant, bar, and hospitality workers in El Paso. So this is one of these positive stories of someone who's trying to do her best to help others in the community. We'll have her here on Instagram. Later in the week, we're going to try to have another medical provider. This one from El Paso. We had Christina from New York yesterday to tell us what it's like on the front lines, where they are, what they need, what advice they have for the rest of us. And then any other ideas that people have, we'd love for you to share those with us. And we'll do our best to take your questions when we have these guests on. But the one thing that I want to leave everyone with is my thanks to everyone who's being kind to one another. Kind even to some of these trolls that you see commenting on the Instagram live feed. If that's how they have fun when they're cooped up, more power to them. But especially our thanks to those who are being good to one another in their families, in their neighborhoods, in their communities. Those who are staying at home and not infecting others or running the risk of infecting others. I think all of that is, really positive, and so many people are doing that right now across the country. So many people are doing that here in El Paso, and I just want to say thanks to everyone doing that. It's not something that's immediately rewarded. In other words, you don't see a dramatic change when you do the right thing. In fact, you might not see anything at all, but that's the best thing. We don't want to see rising infections, rising hospital stays. We don't want to see our medical providers overwhelmed. And so by doing the right thing, you're making that happen, even if it doesn't produce, a great positive response. Just know that we're grateful. And I just wanted to say thank you to you all for doing that. And we'll tune back in later this week with some of these folks from the community here in El Paso and others from different parts of the country. Look forward to answering your questions and including you in the conversation. If anyone has a question for Cynthia before we go, Cynthia, I noticed that there is a comment bar at the bottom of the screen, and then there's a little question icon next to that. I can press one of the questions, like, do you see that question pop up?
Yeah, favorite classic rock band.
Yeah, what's your favorite classic rock band, Cynthia?
I think that gosh, Beto. I'm so bad with music. And just, can I say really quick, they told me to put in earbuds, and that was supposed to help with the echo. Did that work?
It did. I don't hear the echo anymore. Okay,
so thank you for that feedback. Now, whoever Instagrams with Beto will make sure they have earbuds on hand. Yeah. So this is so bad, and I'm going to take a lot of flack from this, but I really used to like the New Kids on the Block. I know that's not classic. I know that's horrible, but Beto, don't look away. Just it was one of the first concerts I went to, New Kids on the Block. I know that's terrible, but I like them. I did. Sorry. Next question.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I think that showed tremendous courage on your part to say that, and even more so in response to what's your favorite classic rock band.
I know. Sorry.
That's good.
Move on.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay. I'm going to check, see if there's any more good questions for Cynthia. Man, there's a lot on here, Cynthia.
While you're looking through that, Beto, can I just say I really want to thank all of our volunteers that have continued to help us. I've reached out to several of them to get their, help on what we do next with as far as being able to, instead of canvassing, and the folks on that are, a lot of them that are on right now have just been so helpful. So super grateful for you guys. Thank you. How would you rate Beto's driving on a scale from 1 to 10? So I have to tell you, Beto honestly is a really good driver. He is, and when I drive, he always has suggestions on how I can do better.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he has strong suggestions. I used to drive in the left lane. He told me not to do that. I didn't use my blink enough.
Oh, we lost you, Cynthia. There you
go. What else? Oh, driving. Okay, so driving too slow, too fast, and so I'd have to say that my driving has improved because Beto he's a pretty good driver. He's a pretty good driver. So I would give you 8.
An 8. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
And by the way, the left lane is perfectly fine as long as you're passing or you are the fastest car on the road. What gets me is when you're in the left lane, slowing down traffic behind you. So that's.
And you also tell me not to pass on the right, right?
Yeah, no, don't pass on the right.
Don't pass on the right. Okay. Beto, can I ask you, what would you rate my driving since I've improved, since we've been on the road? What, better?
Shit, I keep touching my face out of habit. Your driving has gone from a 3 to a 6.5. Ouch.
Wow.
Yeah,
really?
But if you think about it relatively, you have improved 100%, more than 100%. So.
Yeah. I did get a speeding ticket a couple times when we were driving, but.
So I see. I want to let you know that I'm watching the comments come in. Some of them are great. Some of them are funny. Some of them are political, and I'd love to live stream and talk about politics and presidential politics and campaigns. And I promise you, I'll do that at some other point. Now just does not seem to be the time to do that. Right now, I want to focus on connecting with the people in our lives and making sure that everyone is okay, being good and kind to one another, sharing the best practices when it comes to flattening the curve, as they say, ensuring that coronavirus does not spread in this country. That means stay the fuck at home, stay away from people, do not go out. And in those communities like Dallas County in Texas that have commenced shelter in place or that will commence tonight, follow the law and stay in place and do not leave the house. Be good to everyone that you can. Be as positive as you can. Be as hopeful and optimistic as you can. It doesn't mean that you have to relent in the pressure that you apply to those who are in positions of power, who we need to do the right thing when literally all our lives are counting on it. But there's a way to be kind and to be good in the way that we do it. If you want to debate or argue or fight or fuck with me on politics, I'll take it all day long later, okay? Right now, let's focus on the task and the crisis at hand and meet it both with the kindness and the urgency that it truly deserves. So that's for everyone asking political questions right now. You know me, I never shy away from answering them, taking on the tough fights, being as honest as I possibly can. And I promise you I'll do that. I'll continue to do that. But if you want to know why we're spending time catching up or talking about coronavirus, that's because that's what's on our mind. And those are the most important things to do right now. So thanks, Tim.
Well said, Beto.
Yeah.
Well
said. Good to see everybody on here. I am loath to leave the Instagram live story because we're seeing all these great people that I haven't seen in person, like Jacqueline out in California, who I believe is part of or leading an effort to sew face masks because for some reason our government has been incapable of getting that done, and we can stockpile every manner of weapon known to man, and yet we're unable to stockpile all the things that will literally save mankind. And so you have people like Jacqueline and others working on that. Deb Jeet, our friend in the Washington, D.C. metro area, who as a healthcare provider is on the front lines of this, who is helping to organize a call for personal protective equipment, PPE, like the gloves, the masks, the visors, the stuff that you wear around your body to prevent from getting infected and sharing infections He's leading the effort in doing that. So I see a lot of really good people on here who are doing great work. I see Stephen Groves Jr. Talk about driving. No better driver, unless you have any good driving stories of when Stephen Groves did not drive well. But I think he drove pretty well almost every single time.
He was pretty awesome.
Cynthia, who's this?
Is it ACDC?
Don't tell her. Who?
ACDC?
Yeah. Did somebody write that?
No. I got that all on my own.
No. Why New Kids on the Block before AC/DC?
Because I went to a concert. They were one of my first concerts that I went to, and it was a boy band. They were cute.
So mine was my first concert did not have the same lasting impact on me. It was Quiet Riot at the El Paso County Coliseum with Johnny Galvin and his mom, who is his mom is Amy's aunt. Johnny Galvin is my wife's first cousin.
Wow.
This was decades before I ever met Amy. So anyhow, just interesting. I keep touching my face. I gotta stop doing that.
You know who I went to go see, Beto, when they came to El Paso? It was the DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. So this is when Will Smith was called the Fresh Prince, and he came to Fort Bliss here in El Paso, and he was also one of the first concerts, but it was a long, long time ago.
Okay, I've got one for you, Cano.
Okay.
As we're crowdsourcing ideas for people that we have on. So Jay Clayberg, who I notice is on the stream right now, he's about to run the Leadville 50. I hope I have that right, Jay. And he's going to run a kind of a practice run. I think it's this weekend. Jay, you're going to have to give us the details on this stream. And then he's going to, I think, and I hope I'm not giving anything away, Jay, and if I am, I'm sorry, but I think he's going to live stream the run, and he's going to split screen the stream with his coach. So on one part of the screen, you're going to see Jay's perspective on where he's running. And the other part of the screen, it's going to be his coach telling you what you're looking at and how Jay is doing.
Jay's
good
awesome.
Idea?
Oh, super good idea.
And so what if either before or after that we have Jay on to tell us about how he's able to train and race? So he's going to have to do this race virtually because you cannot congregate anymore, of course. And so runners are going to have to individually run the race, not next to each other, time themselves. I don't know if there's an honor system or some way to validate this. But Jay, if you're up for it, we would love to share that and then have you on here. The Giddy Gardeners saw the Clash at the Majestic in San Antonio in '83. Joe Ely showed up, did a few songs with them. Joe Ely, who was in the Flatlanders, or maybe still is in the Flatlanders, who's one of the absolute treasures we have here in Texas, who basically showed Joe Strummer and the Clash their way around this state, including El Paso, played with them in London. That's a great first show in 1983. Missy Nichols is on, and she asked, will we see him hurl? So that would be impressive if we could see that. Jay, there's a lot of love here for the live stream of your run. Type something up here so we know what you're going to do and how we follow it.
He does so many triathlons and different competitions. I just have so much respect for him. I went to do stadiums for the first time in a long time, day before yesterday, and it is hard. It's hard to do anything physical outside running, and I know you do a lot of running as well, but my hat's off to you. I wish I was a better runner.
Allie says, my first concert was at the Hemisphere in San Antonio. Rolling Stones were the opening act for Bobby V. And Allie says that's old. That is old.
Joe Strummer.
Yeah. And so, Cynthia, you suggested that we do some live stream tomorrow of the O'Rourke Homeschool for the Gifted.
I think you should absolutely do that, Beto. And it would be cool if you were also teaching while you guys were doing some of that live stream. I'd be interested to see that.
I did the first lesson today, and it was so bad. Amy's were so good. Amy's taking on math, arts and music, Spanish, and reading, language arts. And my only responsibilities are PE, lunch, and history. And so I'm going to get, and Jay may have a line on these, but I'm going to get some Mesita Elementary PE coaches shorts, the ones that have the belt loop and they're kind of a, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
And the high tube socks and the tucked in kind of polo-ish shirt. That's going to be my look for PE tomorrow. But on the history lesson, I was so bad at keeping their attention and keeping, you know, a flow going through the lesson plan. I just did not have command of the material, but nor did I have command of the classroom. So hats off to every educator out there. That is absolutely tough work.
No,
Cynthia, you were an educator at one point.
I was. So I was a special ed teacher and then an administrator of an elementary school for a little bit. So it is extremely tough, and teachers really, really are amazing. We're so lucky to have them. So can I ask you a question? When because all your kids are different in different grades, are you adjusting your lesson for all three kids? Are all getting the same lesson, or is it different for each one?
This is probably the way that they taught school, you know, in what's the book, Laura Ingalls Wilder?
Little House on the Prairie.
Little House on the Prairie, where you just have all the kids, doesn't matter how old they are, what grade they're supposed to be, and you're just all in the same classroom, basically covering the same material. And so Amy, again, who's amazing, has organized the curriculum. So I'm focusing on Native American history. And so she has all the kids in the reading part of the day reading books about Native Americans. So, you know, fictional accounts or maybe even histories. And then we bring all that into the history class that I teach, which just crossed the Bering Strait. We just got across it. It took us an hour to get out of Africa and across the Bering Strait and down to the tip of Patagonia 10,000 years ago. And that's where we are. And then we're going to start. And Jay, Jay and I have talked about this book, 1491. I'm going to use 1491 as my textbook with the kids. So it's going to be intense.
Cool.
This is a really nice comment. I was talking about how bad I am at all this stuff, and someone writes, "So what are you good at?" That's a good question. This has me wondering. Thank you, Aaron. All right, Cynthia, any parting words? We'll be back on tomorrow with our friend Maggie, who is the owner of Salt and Honey here in El Paso, who started a fund for out of work food and restaurant and bar and hospitality service workers. You know, we don't know when the House, the Senate, and the President are going to get on the same page for a relief package or a stimulus package. She's not waiting for that. She's going to take action now. So we want to have her on and hear about that. My friend Gwen says that she's got some suggestions for who we interview. Gwen, would love to hear your suggestions. Gwen is associated with the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank and encouraged us to volunteer there last week. And it was the best 3 hours we've had since we've been on lockdown. One, because we got to see people at a distance, and two, because we had some purpose and function in our lives. We were doing something that we knew was going to help other people. And as Jay's and my mutual friend Noah says, it's hard to be sad when you're useful. When you're doing something that is helpful and productive, you feel alive and you feel like you have purpose. And so might be nice to talk to Gwen or somebody who works at the food bank to talk about what they're doing there. So keep your suggestions coming. Jay, we're looking forward to watching the run in real time. And Cynthia, good to see you again after not having seen you in 10 days. And we'll see you in person maybe in August.
Thanks. Yeah.
And you may have gray hair then, right? Not because you will have gotten older, but because you will have allowed it to grow out.
Going natural. We're going to let it all grow out natural.
I like it.
Thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it. I miss you so much. I miss everybody on the live stream. And I think in a time right now where it's really scary and, you know, it feels good to have this family, you know, together again. And so thank you for doing it.
Great. And we'll try to put out the the time that we're going to be on so that people can be prepared. I want you all to meet Maggie. I think you're going to love her and her story. And then we're going to bring on some other interesting people from around the country and around the world over the coming days. Just a good way for us to catch up, see each other, learn something, become smarter. Maybe we can split screen someone in who can do the history lesson for my kids when it's history hour tomorrow, which I believe is 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you're interested in helping me with that, I could use the help. Okay, Cynthia.
Okay,
good to see
bye
everybody out
everybody.
there.
Good to see you.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye-bye.